Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. I'm Beatriz Mourad, and today I'm joined by Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
And John McKenna.
Hi, everybody.
In this podcast, we will be speculating what will happen in She-Ra Season 2, which drops on April 26th. Continuing our series of She-Ra discussions, you can listen to all our previous coverage of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, including our Adora podcast, our She-Ra mythology podcast, and our She-Ra queer representation podcast by subscribing to our She-Ra-specific iTunes feed or the Overly Animated YouTube channel. You can also find us on Spotify, which is also new. Listen to us on Spotify. It's so great. The interface is wonderful. You can find out more about this podcast at overlyanimated.com. You can subscribe to us on iTunes at overlyanimated.com/iTunes, on Spotify, or on YouTube at youtube.com/overlyanimated. Note, this new season's only 7 episodes. Its title is going to be Season 2, but it's basically Season 2 Part 1. If you want to go into it without any information, I suggest skipping this podcast. We will be discussing the trailer that dropped, the WonderCon footage, and some of the, I did watch the panel, so in some of the interviews, so I could throw in some random things that maybe you won't want to know if you want to go in, clean without any information. But alright, so, before we dive into what we think is going to happen, let's go over what we know is going to happen. Let's talk about this trailer that dropped a couple weeks ago. So, what did you guys think? What were your thoughts when you saw this trailer? Were you excited? Were you, give me your reactions to it, Michelle.
I was excited. I mean, I feel like the trailer did the smart thing where it didn't give too much away, but clearly there was a lot going on, but it was ambiguous situations enough that you could try to piece together from an outfit change or a location change, or princesses working together. So I guess they must be doing things behind the scenes more now, but there's still not a ton concrete there. But I like that because that means, we'll be going in fresher with less expectations because we won't know as much already. So I'm definitely hyped for it. I also I feel like the downtime between these two seasons was so short that I'm still fully amped for this to happen, and I'm just really excited it's so close now.
Right. John, what about you?
I think the takeaway I got from the trailer was it felt like there was a little bit more intensity with this season, and I think that's going to suit the show extremely well. When I saw season 1 originally back in November, and I just did a quick rewatch now. What I sort of felt was at the beginning of the first half of the season, it sort of took a while to get its footing going, but then the last 5 episodes from Princess Prom forwards, it really started to come into its own. You could feel the stakes rising, you could feel the adrenaline going, and you felt like we were starting to get into a really good position where we left off. So the fact that it's sort of keeping up that pace, keeping up that tone that I noticed in the trailer. We didn't see that many big reveals. I think it was the trailer, the Hey Catra moment, or was that the trailer?
No, that I think was a WonderCon clip.
Okay, never mind then. But yeah, I did think that it's sort of the same. We're getting more character development, I guess, and I think most people could watch the trailer and feel generally excited about the April 26th coming around and us getting potentially a very upbeat, higher stakes season.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I agree with everybody. I will say, maybe it's because I recently saw the Star Wars trailer, and that had a very big thing right at the end that kind of changes things completely in that franchise. So then I was kind of I'm just very used to for these kind of action adventure fantasy kind of stories. I'm used to the trailer having a hook, a little thing where it's mind blowing, but it's still very vague where you can go crazy with theories. Whereas with this, I didn't necessarily get that. I loved what we saw, but it was kind of it just felt like a continuation of where we left off, which is what it should be. It didn't give anything away, but I got more of that kind of spark and excitement for the new season with the WonderCon clips than I did with the actual trailer. And I feel had they done something, because again, those clips, it's not necessarily they gave a lot away. But, I feel they could have used some of that as the stinger for the trailer. That I feel the trailer just lacked a stinger. but that's more on marketing than the actual show. But there are a few things. There are some hints in the trailer. They do give some things away that I do want to get into. I feel like we're gonna get a focus on Scorpia. Like, I feel like just from the trailer, like, there's just more, there's a more emphasis. We didn't get a lot of Entrapta. We got a lot of Scorpia. So I don't know what that means is that they're holding Entrapped off because there's a lot happening with her, or if it's that this season, or at least this part 1 of season 2, is going to be a lot Scorpia focused, which I'm, like, excited about. But did you guys get that same feeling? And if so, do you like that direction they're taking? Michelle.
I guess I didn't notice the lack of Entrapta, but I think I kind of did have a little bit tunnel vision just for Scorpia. I just really, really like her. So anytime she's on screen, it's just like such a delight. And that's the nice thing about getting fan footage. It's because when we were watching those clips, like all the like fan reactions and squeeing like added like a tenfold to the experience, because they love her so much, and it's so blatant. And it just like makes you gush. Like, yeah, she's very beloved in the fandom, and I'm so happy about that. But I mean, I'm sure Entrapped is going to be a big part of this season. Like, from what we've seen in those clips, they just found out she was alive still, and now they assume that she's being held against her will. So it's going to be a huge wake-up call for them when they learn the truth. And then, like, what's going to happen? And, like, is Entrapped even going to want to go back to the princesses or not? I mean, that I feel like that's going to be a huge plot point. So maybe you're right, Beatrice, in that like we're seeing more Scorpia now just because like there aren't as high stakes with Scorpia in this part of the season as Entrapta. We'll see.
We'll see. What about you, John?
Having Scorpia in there, I do like Scorpia. I thought she was pretty good in the first season. Having her a little bit more prominent leads me to believe that the villain side is going to be Catra and Scorpia focused for the most part. I think we're going to see them more as like a team and as a tandem. Scorpia, my only concern with Scorpia is that she is sort of the comedic foil, and I am going to be interested to see how well they play that off. They play her off as both a serious villain while still maintaining her comedy, because I think that is her best feature. So it's not hard to see why Scorpia is a fan favorite. I loved her energy, I loved her enthusiasm, and she is a hugger, which always bright a source of comedy, much to Catra's dismay, obviously. But yeah, I do think that it's clear that she's gonna be a more prominent role going forward. We might get some asides with her elsewhere, and yeah, I think it's gonna be an interesting choice for the show to make.
Okay. Well, moving on from that, we do see something else that's actually really interesting, which is we see Catra in winter gear. Like, we see them in the snow. We see her in winter gear, which also very cutely, like, resembles, like, a mane, like a lion mane, which is, like, adorable. I'm like, of course it does. But, so, does this mean we're going to the Kingdom of Snows? It's going to be under attack? I mean, for a long time, it was neutral until the very end of the final episode of season 1. Like, are we gonna see some repercussions? We're gonna see some outfit changes, and we're gonna see them in the snow. Like, winter is coming, y'all.
Wasn't the Whispering Woods still frozen at the end of season 1, or has that been fixed?
That might be true too.
I don't remember.
I mean, because I remembered, like, it was like the big rainbow, so I'm assuming I remember it like healed everything. So maybe it's de-thawed. De-thawed. Probably. Maybe. Possibly.
It could just be seasonal change too.
It could be. I don't know if the Whispering Woods are more like the Northeast, or if they're more like Florida that just doesn't change. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, some other really cool points from the trailer. We see Adora training with Light Hope, which I thought we were done with Light Hope for a little bit, because she was like, learn to let go, and Adora like
said no, basically.
Yeah.
Where are we with that? I don't know.
I feel like with going back to Light Hope, I think there's one thing Adora does appreciate from her Horde upbringing is the emphasis on training. I do think that she does take that very seriously. So it is no surprise to me that she would go back to Light Hope and try to learn as more that she can about She-Ra, especially with the stakes sort of slightly cooler than it was later on in the first season. And here's the thing, she does sort of need to, because it was left on a kind of a vague note to begin with. Like, we got some of her we got some of She-Ra's backstory, but we still don't really have too much about Adora herself. So I do think that there is. So I think going back to Life Hope, having having more training sessions, more learning sessions, I think it makes sense. Like, I think there is more there that needs to be revealed, that should be revealed in season 2. So I think as long as that's not like just a gigantic 30-minute training montage, I think that I think it's very necessary, because there are still a lot of mythology and backstory questions that need to be answered soon.
Right. Totally.
Yeah. I agree, because like that's kind of Light Hope's whole purpose, right? She's the only one who knows about the Ancient Ones and the technology and how that presumably ties into the whole She-Ra thing.
Right.
Plus, Adora, she's by no means mastered being She-Ra from the end of the series season finale. So like, of course she's gonna need training. I mean, we even saw like when her using that whip thing, she was like, why don't you work the way I want? So like, she's getting new weapons now that she also doesn't know how to use very well yet. So it's going to be like a huge learning process. So I feel like we'll definitely hopefully see more of that for it to be believable that eventually she does master stuff. Right. We have to see her struggle to believe the payoff, right?
Totally.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I don't think she'll become a master at this until the end of this arc, which might be the end of which also might be the end of the show. But it's important to see the growth, and I think it's a growth. It's a long-term investment, and it's going to be, she's going to make mistakes. She's going to fly off the handle. Light Hope in season 1 did talk about what happened with Mara when she did let certain emotions cloud her judgment. It did cause huge distress for Etheria. So it's going to be as much about not only her learning her own powers as much as it is to make sure she could both contain her emotions, but also staying true to her friends and staying true to her mission. And it is difficult. Like, we can go back to Avatar: Last Airbender. That was a big point in book 2 when Aang was talking to the Guru. So I think we could see something very similar to that.
That's a really good point. And I've been thinking a lot about Mara. And I think one thing to keep in mind is like friendship's such a huge part of the story. And it kind of seems like kind of counterproductive to the She-Ras of the past almost. Right. Because like a part of that whole like let go thing, right? Like there's not room for you to have friends. You just kind of do your own thing with all this power, and it's up to you to make all the right decisions all the time and to shoulder that responsibility as one person. And I feel like what I hope happens is that Adora is able to just be like, no, Bo and Glimmer and me and the rest of the princesses, our team, we're going to handle this as an entire unit. It's not all just on me. I'm not going to shoulder the whole thing. I'm going to listen to them. And that might be kind of opposed to what Light Hope is used to or wants Adora to do. But I feel like that could be a really interesting direction. Because, like, again, like Mara, if she couldn't handle it, maybe it's because she was all alone. And, like, who could handle all that pressure and responsibility with nobody else to help out? So I wonder, but that's the thing I've been thinking about for a while now. I feel like something's going to have to give there.
Right. I mean, it is going to be interesting. I do hope that it's that Adora does make that choice where she makes the choice. She's like, no, I'm going to go against what you're telling me. I'm going to do it this way. But I do think it'd be really interesting if she does, like, if she fails at some point, if she makes that choice and she fails, but then in spite of it, but being like, no, but that's still the right path to go on, even if I can't nail it 100% of the time. Does that make sense? Like, I need to see,
totally.
Like, I want to see them suffer a bit more than just, I want her to really think about, like, okay, like, every choice has consequences. Just like the choice of, like, going on my own has, oh my God, do you think someone's gonna die? That's the consequence.
I mean, maybe. But wait, what would someone dying, what would the consequence of that be? For, like, having other people with her? Yeah, but like, we've seen that a lot, though, right?
We do see
so
that a
many
lot.
Protagonists are like, you can't help out or know anything about my plans because I don't want you to be in danger. Like, I feel like that's always the dumbest choice.
It's so
because
cheesy.
People not knowing anything is going to put them in way more danger than telling them what's going on.
But this is what I'm saying. I don't mean that she should lie and keep people under, like, people hidden. I'm saying, like, she's going to make the choice, like, no, we kind of saw it when Atrapta got, quote unquote, killed. But it's, that choice of, like, no, I'm going to go with the team. I'm not going to do this alone. And then by choosing going with a team, it's not that she's choosing, I'm going to keep things hidden. It's, I want there to be a price for both choices. I want her, like, I need Adora to suffer is what I'm saying.
I feel like,
I'm sure she will.
just after season 1, though, I would feel like that'd be very out of Adora's character, though, because when she needed to do something alone, which is to visit Lighthope toward the end of season 1, she was out front and said, "This is something I have to do alone," and Glimmer and Bow respected it. So I don't think it would be so it would be sort of out of character for her to all of a sudden keep things secret unless it's something very major, like possibly a confrontation with Catra, where it has to be those two, which, you know, is certainly possible. I mean, that it's happened once before. It could very well happen again. But I do feel like Adora knows about the importance of being with the Princess Alliance, knows the importance of her friends. And although I think there could be some risk that some potentially bad solutions, like I agree with you, Beatrice. I do kind of want to see her, you know, have a stumbling block, get something wrong. I don't know if I'd say suffer, but, you know, it has to go through a very tough choice where there might not be any good answer. Like they may have to sacrifice a town or a city or even a kingdom, because if they didn't, then everything would be lost, for example.
Right. Like, and again, I never said that I wanted her to lie to anyone. I'm just saying that
you want there to be reasonable stakes.
Right. I want that on both sides. Because the thing is, because by the end of season 1, she chose the friends. You know,
right.
Like that's how it ends. She chose friends. But we have like several seasons. So I'm like, okay, well then now what? Now, okay, you chose your friends, but now it's like you gotta face the reality of like, okay, well, this is what comes with not being that kind of cliched solo hero. This is the cool uncharted territory we have of like the story of like, we're not gonna have that like hero that suffers on their own. We're gonna have everybody work together, but things are not gonna go great, and I'm curious to see what's gonna happen with that.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
But speaking of backstories, one thing that's also we saw a lot more of in the trailer was Hordak. And it's been confirmed by Noelle in the panel that we're gonna get his backstory and see who he is as a person. I mean, if he is a person, I still don't know if he's a person.
On my list of priorities, that's like definitely below 0. Hordak's backstory.
Well, I mean, granted, it might not be like it probably won't be like entire, or at least I hope it's not an entire
Hordak's
episode
tragic
to
backstory.
You know, unless Hordak is like, maybe Noelle's gonna be like, you say that now, but like by the end of the season, he's gonna be your favorite character.
Glimmer's dad. Yeah, who knows? So many crack theory potentials.
No.
Yeah, it being Glimmer's dad would be great. Glimmer, I am your father.
Is that like a theory
with
in
my
the
weird
fandom,
gremlin
or no?
Animal.
I don't know, but I actually like the fact that Noelle said that, though, because if Lord Hordak really is the mastermind behind the Horde, some of his backstory will be important because we didn't really get a lot of him in season 1. In fact, he was almost a non-entity. So the lack of excitement Michelle expressed is completely fair, because again, how many of us really cared about Hordak in season 1? Not many.
Shadow Weaver was way more prominent than he was.
Right? Yeah, way more prominent, way more menacing. But also we have to go back to the note that Catra is a lot closer to Hordak. So in a sense, we're going to get more Hordak to begin with. And if we are getting more Hordak, because Catra is now a second in command, it will pay to know why he's targeted Etheria directly to be added to the Horde's empire, why he wants to add to the Horde's empire, and just sort of getting him sort of out of the role of just the big bad that does big bad things because he's big bad, and actually give him some complexity.
Plus, that's going to influence Catra's motivations moving forward, too. And if she finds something really empathetic about his tragic backstory, that's going to move her to do certain things. And if she's kind of like, wow, I don't know if I want to be quite like you, how am I going to maneuver this gray area? I think either way, it's going to be interesting from Catra's perspective.
Absolutely.
Too, so, yeah, I'm excited to see that.
And in her new role as second in command, and we've already seen that she has a real and we already saw that she does have a real hesitancy to really kill Adora or really commit a lot of harm to her, at least until the end. Mm-hmm. So if those two interests she has begin to clash, how does she respond to where she? Because here's the thing, I don't believe that Catra really wants to severely harm Adora, even if she swears her off completely. I think that's going to become a really big crutch point. And if Hordak is ask her to do all these things, and she can't really just say no or disobey him.
Right.
He's Hordak. She's Shadow Weaver. Like Catra would probably try to screw over Shadow Weaver in any event, and she would go disobey her and just be flipping nonstop because she didn't respect her. It's different now. He's the big boss.
Yeah, totally. Well, speaking of Shadow Weaver, where do you guys see her in this season? Like, are we even going to see Shadow Weaver in season 2?
I think at least a little bit, but I think she's definitely going to be kind of like laying low, just sucking up that gem juice, trying to stay alive. I mean, I could see, as Catcher grows closer to Hordak, it could be a situation where Shadow Weaver's like, oh, well, like, be careful, like, I know stuff about him, or like, you think he likes you now, but like, just wait, he might throw you aside if you start to like do things he doesn't want. I mean, she might have some kind of weird wisdom to impart to Catcher about Hordak, because she was in the position Catcher was now for years, so I don't know.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
I think she's gonna play a reduced role, maybe almost in the Catra role, almost where she's trying to screw over Catra, because Catra effectively bounced her from Hordak's inner circle, took on more responsibility, and she may be trying to exact her revenge. I'm not sure really if I would love to see Shadow Weaver in this reduced role, to be honest, because I think it will be such a big downturn for it's such a big downturn for the character, and I wonder if you could if that's a good vehicle for. Because I just remember like Lorraine Toussaint's voice work was just brilliant when she had that command of power and authority. I'm not quite sure if it's going to work when she's on the bomb and flailing around. And I'm not sure how that would necessarily fit with, I think, some of the other things they might be trying to do.
See, but I don't think she's as powerless as you think she is. Because remember, she was the one who raised Adora and Catra, so I do think she still has some emotional power over them in some capacity. So I don't know if necessarily I think she still is going to be able to carry some sort of influence and power and I won't be able to like mock it, because I think she does. I think given the history and how she's tied with these two characters, arguably the most like kind of the pivotal characters of the story, I think there's still left for her, I think. I don't know if we're going to get it this season, especially given the shortness of it, but I wouldn't call her out as gone yet.
Can we talk about why is the season so short? I mean, I think what was DreamWorks' decision?
No,
it's the same length, but they're just cutting it in half, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's more because remember when you said in the beginning, Michelle, how it's coming so soon after the first season, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's because of that. They want, instead of waiting until they're done with the entire season, they want to give you more content, and they just kind of break it up so you get it more often, but it's shorter batches.
Now, I actually was hoping that we could like discuss that a little bit, because I remember when Dragon Prince came back very quickly. Actually, it came back about 6 months after season 1 of that show came out. So She-Ra's on a very similar attack. But I remember when I was reading Mr. Volpe's Twitter account, and he had said that we had to work weekends, we work at long hours. I'm not sure I really want that for either that or this show, where it feels like they're putting in overtime to crank these out, because I like the idea, because I don't know, for me, it's like, I don't mind waiting a full year for a new season if it means that they're, taking their time, working like rational human beings, having, eating food, going to sleep, having weekends where they're not doing this. So I do get a little concerned about the whole idea of pushing out a new season this quickly. Them splitting it in half is probably a good balance, because it might have taken the pressure off a little bit. They're getting the 7 episodes done now, and they have some time to work on the last like 5, 6, or 7 or so. So, which could then entertain another question, which is, are we going to get sort of like a beginning, middle, end to the first half and the same structure for the second half, or is it going to feel like still it should have been one long season anyway?
Well, I mean, two points for what you just said. The first is with Dragon Prince, that second season did feel like we didn't really go anywhere. Like nothing huge happened. Like things happened, but I felt like there wasn't as big. It was kind of slow. But again, that's a different show and that's a different studio. We're talking an indie studio versus DreamWorks studio, like a major animation studio. So I mean, it's a little different. And I don't know how much he's involved with, because I know the Dragon Prince is also doing a video game tied to it as well. So I don't know if that's also included in this, and if they're involved with it. Like, I don't want to compare studios and their schedules and the way that they produce things, because every company has a different kind of working environment. So I don't know. And again, I don't know the different budgets. That's asking for a lot of information. Like, that's assuming a lot of information we don't have. So I don't want to.
That's fair. I guess my question is, so are there only 2 seasons that are currently greenlit for She-Ra? Is this the first of 2 parts, and then that's like it? Because that's the impression I've been getting since it started, and that feels like, just, I don't, based off of the fandom like amount, and just like this, I feel like this has so much potential for at least, like, 4 or 5 or 6 more seasons.
Well,
it's the money question, and if it's like a toy selling question, so I hope this is the end.
Noelle has said, Miss Stevenson has said that she has a 52 episode plan. So so if we hash the math out, that is 4 seasons. I don't know,
but it's whether up to DreamWorks then, if they're going to pick it up for that long,
and Netflix, of course.
Yeah.
Which and look, the way the show has been received critically, the way the fandom has like really taken to it, like I'm not worried about She-Ra, if that makes sense. Like, that She-Ra's never worried me from that perspective. I'm not like I don't know much about Voltron, but it seems like it's a very similar in size and scope in terms of just the reactions people have had to it. In terms of fandom, like, I don't see I don't see any indication from like DreamWorks that it's like, oh, you need to watch this, like, you make sure to watch or make sure to tell your friends. Like, I've never seen that either from Noelle, either from anybody. So like, they don't appear to be nervous about being renewed, if that makes sense. Like,
it'd be so soon for them not to be renewed also. The show just dropped months ago.
And not just that, but being, again, animation takes a long time, and by the fact that they broke it up is because they want to keep this momentum going, right? They want to keep people talking. They want to have content out as soon as possible so that the hype continues. So I don't think that's a worry. And trust me, as a fan of One Day at a Time, I know what it's like when a showrunner is scared about the show being canceled. I know the tricks. I know the behavior very intimately well. I've seen it in every season. She-Ra, I don't think, is in that position.
And also, if you think it's only a 4-season plan, maybe that's all Noelle even wants to do. Like, she has not said that outright, but that is potential. Like, it would seem a little silly to, you say, she says she has a 4-season plan, you cut it off after the 3rd season when things are not done yet. That would be egregiously unfair unless, for some reason, seasons 2 and 3, the show plunges in popularity, which I'm not entirely sure is going to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to. I feel like the worst case scenario, and I hope I'm not jinxing anything, like, it's going to get its full force. It's going to get the full 52 episode run. That's Noelle's original idea. And then it's going to be, do we want to make another arc out of this?
Right. That's going to be the question.
I mean, I feel like that's probably what happened to some other, like, I feel like that's kind of probably what happened to Steven, because I know, like, Rebecca, she kind of knew what she wanted for an ending from day one, but she was flexible with the timing of that, depending on how many seasons she would ultimately get. And I feel like Noelle could be in a similar boat. She's like, well, I know where I want it to go, and if you want it for more seasons, I guess, like, we can take our time with some other stuff, but, like, ultimately it's going to end up here no matter how much you give me, kind of deal.
I mean, not just that, but I mean, there could be, it could be like, I find it all in a show's right if, like, say the showrunner tells their story and then the show wants to continue, but then the showrunner goes, I'm okay, I don't want to continue, but you can find someone else to take it on. And then they tell, like, the next arc. And it could keep going that way. But that is way ahead.
That's like, we're planning 6 years ahead, though.
Yeah.
But for season 2, I think the structure is, the structure of splitting it up in half is going to be interesting, because season 1 was definitely meant to be seen 13 episodes all at once. It'll be interesting to see if it's going to be the same sort of style of storytelling, or it's going to be tailored with the split in mind.
I mean, for instance, you mentioned how in the last, say, 5 episodes since prom to the end, that was when it really kicked in, right?
Yes.
For season 1. Well, it could, I could see that as where it broke, where it was okay, the first 6, 7, whatever episodes happened, then break, then you have the prom and then there. So I don't think, I think it could work in their favor in terms of, I think they've already shown that we can do these, small batches of, beginning, middle, end story batches, and then we get another one that maybe it's not as long. I mean, sure, more chances for there's more risk for the setup episodes to drag. There's more risk for more cliffhangers and feel like, come on, we just want answers. But I mean, I'll worry about that when I see it not working. At the moment, I have no reason to think it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But one final thing of the trailer before we move on to what we've kind of mentioned them, but the panel clips. But this is a very important thing. Ketra hacks She-Ra's sword. There's an image where she's holding the sword, and It has the red stones of the jewel power crystal thing. She hacked it. She's holding it, and what's going on? Any ideas? And
Trapta got a hold of it again.
Oh my god. And Trapta with the sword is madness. Oh no. Do you guys think that do you think that maybe because She-Ra is connected to the sword now, do you think that Adora's going to be able to feel any type of hacking or corruption that the sword experiences? If the sword gets corrupted, will She-Ra be corrupted?
Quite possibly. I mean, She-Ra was corrupted when this happened last time. So
I mean, she wasn't corrupted by someone else, though. She was corrupted by her own Mara. What the problem with Mara was?
No. I meant when she was in when they went to Entrapta's castle, and that's when the virus hit the sword.
Oh yeah. You're right. Oh man. So that's a danger. That's something to think about, everybody. I leave messages with your thoughts on what that means. Because that was that. I think that was the moment in the trailer that I got really excited. I was like, ooh, now what's gonna happen? But let's move on to these panel clips. Just very briefly. The war meeting, which is basically the D&D episode. That clip was precious. It was great. It had the puns and it had the 80s outfits.
There we go.
Yeah, that was lovely. I was not expecting to ever see those again.
And I mean, maybe Michelle, you're right when you said that hearing people react to it also made it that much more exciting to see.
Oh
because,
yeah,
I mean, the squeals, everyone being like, "Oh my god!" And
when the Catra lady came out, everyone freaked out, and all those cat puns. It was just so good.
I just love the line delivery from Adora, just being like, "What?" and just throwing her arms up in the air, just being like, "What is this?" And Bo with a mustache. Anytime you have Bo with a mustache, that's great. That's amazing.
Bo with, I love how this show is, even though it's very much Miss Stevenson's unique interpretation on the genre. I love how she still pays homage to and throws little bones to all the 80s kitsch that the old show had. I absolutely love that. And giving Bo a mustache again, fantastic.
Mustaches are great. They get very bad reps.
But
who? From people in general.
Somewhere
society.
Sam is cheering.
As a mustache wearer, I find this very concerning and very alarming.
Yeah, though, is that not I don't know, maybe it's in the circles I've been around, but people tend to I feel like all guys secretly want a mustache, but then they don't because society tells them not to. And I'm just no, embrace your inner mustache.
Notice it's a lot of guys say they want a mustache, then they grow a mustache, they realize, Jesus Christ, I look terrible with a mustache. Why did I think this was a good idea in the first place?
I mean, I've gotten selfies from guys shaving and sending me pictures with them and their mustaches being thoughts. And so I'm telling you guys, if you want it, just wear it for yourself. Don't ask for validation from other people. But yeah, so moving on, there's also the clip of this kind of robot fight where the trio, the baddies, they're looking on and seeing how these robots are fighting with the princesses. We see the lasso that Michelle mentioned, and Adora being why can't you just be what I want you to be? But I like the lasso because it reminds me of Wonder Woman. All I needed was to glow. I was I'm down. give her as much. I'm down with the lasso. But then the greatest moment was the Hey Catra moment. I mean, that was like the highlight.
The crowd went nuts.
Nuts. It was great. But yeah, and it was really cool seeing the princesses work together. We're seeing I feel like we're going to see a lot more dynamics between these princesses now that they're all together and united. They're a united front now. I feel like this is when it's going to get really exciting now. Because, I understand the need for the setup in like the first like half of season 1. That's why it needed to be slow, because you needed to world build, and give everyone the information they needed to be able to run with the plot. But now I'm really excited for all the humor, all the stuff that we've seen in these clips from WonderCon. It's like, oh, we're gonna have some fun. But yeah, the other clips are pretty exciting. We got Glimmer and Catra finally interacting, which is lovely.
Yes.
Catra's grin is like perfect.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I did
Is
something.
that intentional?
Oh,
perfect.
Oh no!
That's what you get for watching that clip too many times.
But yeah, that's exciting, right? We're gonna see Catra interacting with the princesses, but not with Adora, which is like interesting. That's gonna be a very interesting dynamic, and I stand by the claim that Glimmer's the one that's gonna get through to Catra.
Yeah. I'm excited to see them talk.
Right, yeah, and also we have to think about the show. It's meant to be an ensemble cast, so I'm glad that I would be very glad if we get the princesses interacting with each other outside of just talking with Adora. And in a sense, it actually does kind of build out the story a little bit too, because when you have the side characters having good interactions, it overall does strengthen the atmosphere and the environment too. So I think if we get those outside interactions, those side character interactions, it will, in general, I think, make the story that much stronger when we can have that, because not everything is just pumped through Adora.
Right, totally. I mean, I will say this is the clip that made me a little worried, because the whole like Entrapta confusion from the characters.
Yeah.
Like, we know we know the betrayal. Like, we've already known. We've established this very early on. I mean, we established this well into season 1. We know it. Like, I just don't want this to last long. Like, I want, like, this to be over and done with within, like, the first 3 episodes. Like, I want them to find out that Entrapta betrayed them. Like, she's alive. She's actually working with them. Like, I don't need this to be, like, I've seen shows, like, you know, like, really pull this along and like really stretch it out, and I don't need that.
And it seems like, and also when you think about the Entrapta circumstances, like, it didn't really take her much convincing to join the Herald. All you really basically did was show her a shiny thing, and she's like, "Ooh, shiny thing! I can help you now."
Yeah.
Hey, I think you're both doing Entrapta a disservice. I mean, what Catra told her is like, "Oh, well, they just left you behind to die, basically," and she was like, "Oh, okay, well." I guess I'm with you now. Like, she doesn't know that they didn't intentionally leave her behind and they thought she was legit dead. That's the issue. There was a huge miscommunication on both sides.
Right, and I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying.
I don't want it to drag out either, but there's going to be some drama. It's definitely going to happen.
I want the drama, but I want it to be
the Horde, though. Like the clips we saw, she's still with the Horde too, so it's gonna.
Well, they let her
like,
experiment still, and on the first one's tech, which Adora definitely didn't want her to do because it causes a lot of problems.
Right, totally. I mean, I'm all for the drama. I'm just saying, as like, from my perspective as a viewer, I'm just like, okay, but can everyone like I don't mind the drama once everybody finds out what's really going on. I just want everyone to find out so that everyone's on the same page, and then have as much drama. Like, I don't want them to like forgive her immediately or whatever, but I do need everybody to like, the miscommunication aspect, I want it to be done. I want it to be resolved within that episode, because I don't like them extending that. Like, it's been a miscommunication thing since the moment they thought she was dead, and we learned that she wasn't. So I'm just like, it's been enough. It's been long enough. You gotta resolve this. Like, in terms of just, everyone needs to know who's on whose side and deal with it. However positively or negatively they react, I need them to react. And then we'll see where we go from there. But the final clip from WonderCon, which was which is another highlight for me, was Scorpia's clip, which was lovely.
Oh my god.
But I didn't, this was the clip that made me realize, like, I didn't realize before that Scorpia was, like, in love with Catra. Like, I didn't realize it before.
It was very explicit. I mean, she said they were like souls bonded by the thread of fate or something. Like,
she could have just been overly dramatic, but yeah, there's definitely you could see some tension there.
Not just that, but she's like, my wildcat, come on.
Yeah, claiming ownership, my wildcat. Like, okay, that's like, not just
like friends don't do that.
No.
That was like, oh wow, like, which makes me think, like, what this Noelle tweet that she did, it makes me think of it in new ways, because now I'm just like, what is the Scorpia Catra ship name? Because now I'm like, wait, is that a possibility? Like,
Scorptra, Catri, it's Scorptra, right?
See, I feel like this is one of those instances.
Catra, but I don't know if it would be good for Scorpia.
See, this is one of those instances where you can't mash up the names because it won't sound right. So you need to give them like a better name. Like, you need to give them like their ship better, like Catfish or something.
Plums and cherries.
Catfish.
Plums and cherries. Yeah, but I mean, granted, scorpions aren't fish. But I don't know why I thought fish. But you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I don't know.
One of my crack theories about ship names is if you can't combine the names into a good ship name, it's a bad ship. That's like one of my theories.
No, like
it's a dumb theory, I know, but it's like if it doesn't roll off the tongue or make a good Tumblr hashtag, is it really a ship worth shipping?
Well,
yes,
I mean,
if the characters are compelling enough,
rolls off the tongue.
I think Katang is the best.
It's not. It's terrible. I don't think it's fair. I mean, I think you just haven't found the right one if it doesn't sound good yet. That's how I feel.
Yeah. They exist. They're probably up there. But yeah, so that does it for the clips. Now let's move on to just general speculation. What do you guys hope to see in the season? What do you hope to not see? Is there anything in particular that you're just like, I don't want to touch this. I don't want to. Is there any kind of fears that you have coming into the season of where the show is going to go? John?
I'll say that what I hope to see is compared to season 1, I'd like to see a much higher average level of energy for each episode. My biggest hang up for season 1 was like we had a really strong two-parter start, and we had a really good 5-episode ender, and I felt the middle kind of lagged a little bit. Like it was just more about, you know, going to see a princess, convincing them to join the rebellion, blah 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 blah. It's like, and repeat 5 times. I think having a little bit more energy, maybe a little bit more battle scenes, more sort of us v Horde, more Etheria v Horde action going on, which I think we are going to get. There was a tweet that said, was it best friend squad goes to war? I'm like, okay, this sounds promising. We're get more of that 1v1 interactions, a lot more action scenes going. I want to see that because I think season 2 is a good time to bust that out. What I hope not to see is Catra joining Etheria at the end of season 2. Okay. I want Catra to have I want Catra to stay primarily a villain through this season. I don't want her to flip to the other side, even though I fully believe that she will by the end. So I want her to remain the Adora's foil. I want there to be really good sort of interactions between the two of them now as much more hardened enemies than, you know, Catra kind of sort of helping Adora, kind of sort of helping the Horde. I want there to be like more conflict. I don't want it to be resolved too quickly.
Gotcha. Do any of you think that there will be any kind of changes in allegiances this season? Like, it doesn't have to be necessarily Catra, but anyone, do you think will flip to one side or the other?
Well, I think Entrapped is going to have to pick a side this season, right? For sure. Either she's going to stay where she is or she's going to go back. But I can't imagine she would comfortably be able to go back. So I feel like that might cause a shift, too, for the rest of the princesses. Because she's like a force to be reckoned with. And
yeah, she is.
I don't know.
I think Atrapta could be convinced to change back because we saw that she is valuable, she knows technology, and they do want her aboard. They just didn't think she was alive. Yeah, I think this is going to sound like a bit of a wild card. Kyle will come on side.
Poor Kyle. Like, the poor kid is just trying his best and doing what he's told, and he still gets yelled at. This poor kid. But yeah, I could see one of the kind of lower level kind of, I don't want to call them minions, but lower level soldiers of the Horde.
He doesn't get a pat on the head. He doesn't get told he does a good job. He probably hasn't had a raise since he was like 3. So, benefits of joining the rebellion, you actually get treated not like dirt.
I mean, granted, if there were ever a moment that he was going to switch, it was when he was talking to Bo and Bo was taken hostage.
Maybe just seeing Bo again would be enough, though. Be like, oh, hey, it's my friend! But like, oh, yeah, do you want to come over here? Yeah.
And Bo just be like, that's great. You know what you could do? You can go take this bow and you could put it on that shelf. Can you do that for me?
Okay, but do you guys think that we're gonna see Bo's dads this season or no?
I hope so. I feel like he'll at least bring them up, right?
Probably.
I mean, that would be ideal. I don't know if we're gonna see them, but if he just says my dad's, then I'll be happy.
I said this in November. My one wish is that one of his dads looks like the Bo from the 80s version of the show, just because.
Oh, that could be funny.
Like the very ginger mustache, the flaming hair, and the big build. I'd be like, if she does that, I will be a very happy little gopher.
That would be really cool. That would be awesome. Do you guys think that we're going to continue on with Adora's kind of identity crisis of like, who is she versus like, who is she? Where does she end and She-Ra begin? Or do you think we're going to see more of like, are we going to get more of Adora's backstory in these like batch of episodes? Or do you think that's going to still be like kind of this like mystery we're not going to touch upon it just yet?
I feel like I would hate to hold that for the end because I feel like it'd be more interesting if the sooner she figured out, where she came from, how that's going to affect her choices. Because I want to see those choices be made and see the consequences of those choices. So I would hope that she figures it out by the end of the season, at least.
Mm.
Right. Totally.
The big thing for me is I would like to, because one of my theories with Adora is she wasn't adopted, she was kidnapped. Like I want to find out, like, because for me the big thing, one of the big hitches I have is why Adora specifically? Like why is she specifically She-Ra? Now in the original show, we know why. She is He-Man's twin sister from that planet, all that. But that's not in play right now. So what is so special about Adora that made the sword call to her? Because we still don't really have that yet, and I wonder if we're going to get that this time around.
Right. I mean, but here's the thing. Like, okay, for one, do you guys think Adora's parents are alive? Like, you think they're alive?
Possible.
Maybe. Either they don't know she's alive or...
Right.
Yeah, because wouldn't they look for her?
I mean, if she was kidnapped, that means that if she wasn't an orphan, she was kidnapped. So that means that maybe they're still alive. Maybe.
Again, the reason why I'm saying was she kidnapped was because that was what it was like in the original show, and I
gotcha. Okay,
that's why. Well, it's because I think it was described. I think it was the first minute of the first episode. I can totally see that working here if played the right way. Even though it's clear they're not hemming totally to the original canon, which is completely fine. In fact, I actually like the fact they're not doing that. But I'm still holding out that is a possible explanation as to why how she came forward, and B, why she's specifically destined for She-Ra, because it's a bit weird for someone who is just, a regular Horde member to have this very specific calling.
I mean, it is also weird that she goes for the honor of Grayskull, and Grayskull is the name of, like, and we family and all that. And we don't know that, but
we don't know what Grayskull is yet, and I don't think that cultural osmosis is enough to carry that one out. So I think they have to explain that.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, well, the last kind of really big thing that I got from, like, the panel and stuff is that we're going to see, like, Glimmer and Frosta kind of strike up a friendship of sorts. Are you excited about that? Are you excited to see to get to know Frosta now that she's actually allowing herself to become involved with the group?
Frosta becoming
like have friends, yeah.
Like have friends. Like actually show a personality, because she's now not she's now not just a queen. She's allowed to be princess. Now she's allowed to be a person. Now she's because apparently like they're going a very interesting take where she's gonna be like Glimmer's #1 fan. Like that's gonna be that's the shift. And I'm just like, I don't think that was established at all in season 1.
No, but it was only in like 1 point a fraction episode.
Right,
so
exactly.
fair.
So she was barely in it. So I'm just like, oh, that's gonna be interesting. Like I thought she was gonna be like very like the stuck up kid who thinks she's better than everybody else. But no, she's gonna be.
Which she is. Yeah, she is.
She's Glimmer's the exception, and then she just melts around only Glimmer.
That would be the best. Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be. It'd be quite the interesting pairing for sure.
Okay. Well, do you want to get into shipping? Do you want to like talk about? Okay, because look, something in WonderCon, 2 things happen that are very conflicting for me in terms of Catradora. So one was, when like someone like in the crowd suggested like the wedding, that Catradora should have a wedding and that Noelle should put it in the show. All Noelle does is just sip her water in a very obvious way. She's just like,
Miss Stevenson is going just to outright say that at a con.
No, I know, but like it's funny how she, instead of just like laughing it off, she literally like opens her water and just like sips it as if it's like, I'm aware of what you think. I don't know. But then also, in contrast, against it, I saw AJ Mashaka's WonderCon interview, like something she did after the panel. I don't know if it was after or before the panel. And she, like, called Adora and Ketra, like, sisters. And she compared it to her relationship with her sister. So I was just like, well, that kind of ruins the ship a little bit.
Well, here's the thing. This is why I don't think very highly of the Catradora ship, is because of that sister element that was in their relationship. They've known each other since they were kids. They are practically sisters. So I could see why AJ would, Miss Mishalka would say that. But that definitely hinders it for me, because I feel like it's like you know each other too well at this point. So it's like, now I get it. Noelle's not gonna say one way or the other, and totally, completely fine. That's totally completely fine. I don't believe we're gonna get any sort of confirmation on that ship this season. If it happens, maybe it's gonna be season 4. But even then, If I was going to the shipping casino, I wouldn't be putting too much money down on this one.
Which one would you be putting money down on?
I walked right into that one. Let's see. I still like Glimmer and Bow. Glimmer and Adora I put Glimmer and Adora in second place, and I'll stick with those 2 for now. Glimmer and Adora, or Glimmer and Bow. I still like
Glimmer. You think Glimmer's gonna be the one, the character that's gonna be
Glimmer's
involved
gonna be in
romance.
some ship, yeah.
She's the romance angle. If there's a romance angle on this show, it's gonna come from Glimmer.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's gonna be that way. And honestly, if it's Glimmer and Adora, that's great. If it's Glimmer and Bow, great too. It's weird. I don't really think about the ships in this show that much. I guess. Well, Scorpia and Catra, I guess we can add that to the pile too. But it's just like I like the relationships right now. I'm sort of, I want to be a little bit more reserved when it comes to like the sort of romance things. I feel like there's still a lot more to get through before I feel like they start to really coalesce. But those 2, Glimmer and Bow and Glimmer and Adora, I do like.
Gotcha. Michelle, is there any kind of ship that you're like looking forward to seeing development on, or do you expect anything from, or you hope to see something from in these episodes?
I don't know. And I think I've been trying to not listen to any confirmations, just because like all the things I ship have problems, and I want to see the characters work through those problems before they actually get together.
Right.
But I mean, even Glemadora, like, I feel like if that really was going to be a thing they wanted to start seeding, we need to see them have more one-on-one interactions. We need to see them get deeper with each other and build that trust and become more of a unit, because Glimmer and Bow have so much history because they've been in each other's lives so much longer, and Adora has barely scratched the surface of that for both of them. Right. So, like, even that one where it's still, like, very positive, I feel like I wouldn't, like, believe it at this point in time because they haven't spent that much time together. Part of me has, I mean, Adora is just very interesting, but I don't necessarily want to see them become more romantic this season. I want to see them both have these, like, external influences pushing them to both be leaders on opposite ends of the scales. I want to see Adora and Catra both just, like, grow into their leadership roles at opposite ends of this feud, and how that's going to exacerbate their tenuous relationship from the first season and maybe destroy it entirely, and then see them as actual legitimate brutal enemies, knowing that they were friends before, making that all the more sad and tragic. Like, I kind of love that, and I'd love to see that because it's just good television, right? And sometimes like, you do love someone, maybe as a sibling, maybe as more, but, like, you never get to figure that out because circumstances change and you're changed forever. And it's the life lesson, food for thought. So, like, yeah, I mean, and again, like, I love Scorpia and Catra, but again, like, Scorpia, like, loves her. And she doesn't really think Scorpia's that smart, or, like... Catra would just rather not. Yeah, so, like, I'm not sure that's, like, the best right now either, but if Catra happened to open up to her more and they get more time together, same with Glimmer and Adora, like, that could change in a heartbeat, and I'd love to see that happen. So, people just need to put in the work, and I'll ship it all. Okay. Yeah.
All right. But do you think we'll get any seeds of a romance in this batch?
I'm sure we're gonna get a little more something with Catra and Adora, at least in terms of visual framing, if nothing else. It's gonna be there, and we're gonna. I mean, we've already seen Scorpia like gushing so much.
Right.
Like, she's gonna be just super gay and super excited about her like very invested fake relationship with Catra. Which is kind of glorious. And, like, maybe Glimmer stuff, like, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be entirely surprised, but I might be a little surprised, but it'd still be nice, so. And maybe some nice person for Beau. Not that he, like, needs someone to complete him, but I'd like to see him happy and to meet people that he likes.
Totally. Okay, so I guess we will...
Beau and Perfuma, that's another one. That's another one that could happen.
Yeah. Also, Beau calls her Fuma. So that's cute.
Yeah. Fast to say.
Yeah, Fuma. But let's end this talk by doing a little exercise. So Noelle Stevenson, she tweeted out this this list of like emojis in a tweet describing something she was working on, or describing an episode that was going to happen. I don't know if it's an episode that's dropping in this batch or not, but it's just a bunch of tweets, and I was just wondering if either of you could crack what it is that she's doing. Like, what is it that she tweeted? Just based on the emojis that she expressed.
It's a lot of emojis. Like, the shrimp one has me stumped already. No, there's a scorpion after that by the wizard one. So it can't be shrimp. That's what's confusing me.
Okay. It must be, like, food. They ate something bad. Maybe poisonous.
And it made them sick. Catra's angry.
Catra's upset.
There's magic wizard. And Scorpia does a lightning...
Okay, Beau. Beau's in there.
Sonic boom, maybe? Sonic arrow?
Beau launches a lightning sonic arrow and becomes...
maybe Shira fire? Shira sacrifices herself and she's sad. And then... or someone else is sad? Maybe
something goes boom.
Something goes boom. People are sad again. We're like, oh no. And then Mystic Ball dancing. So then there's an agreement made over magic seance dance.
There's some defense.
And then love and friendship and gay love friendship.
See, but is it gay or is it just the princesses uniting like they did in the finale?
If you compare it to maybe they build a giant rainbow bean party plant or something, because there's a beanstalk after that. There's a little party thing.
I think it could be gay because they're all gay, but not like gay romance.
No, but listen, it could be gay romance because it would be the heart, the rainbow, and then they're planting the seeds of the gay romance.
Whoa, are just planting the seeds of revolution? And then they have a party? Plant party?
It all ends in a party, and I just want to know I just want to know who's the one celebrating. Is it the horde that's celebrating, or is it She-Ra and the princesses?
A rainbow. I'm pretty sure it's not the horde who's celebrating.
Right, it's gotta be the princesses.
Yeah,
okay.
It could be like I don't know. It's like I read the first 3. I was like, okay, we learned Catra's allergic to shrimp. That's how I read the first 3. Like that's a major plot point. Some dude does magic. I got Scorpia shoots lightning, bow, sonic booms, becomes a luchadore or something. I don't know.
I think it's She-Ra though, because it looks like
that's She-Ra the hero. Yeah.
Okay, so Bo is not a luchador. Great. Something catches on fire and makes people sad, and there's a bomb. There's sadness. There's gonna be yet another dance. We get to see somebody in a dress. There's probably gonna be someone in a suit too, so that'll please some people. There's a handshake. They play Dungeons and Dragons, and someone grows a plant. I don't know. Though one thing I did notice, there's 23 emojis. An episode's 23 minutes long. So what if each emoji corresponds to 1 minute?
Oh, man.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Oh, I'm gonna be I'm gonna have that like on my phone while I watch, and I'm just gonna wait and see like who's the shrimp. Oh my god, what if Kyle's the shrimp?
Kyle's the shrimp.
Kyle's the shrimp.
That poor boy.
He's gonna get sick, and then Ketra's gonna fire him, and then someone's gonna like
turn him into
Merlin, and then Scorpia's gonna be like, "Gee whiz, you're cool now," and then electricity, I don't know, it's gonna have a thunderstorm, and then it's like cut to Bo yelling at She-Ra to like get it together and save a burning town. I don't know.
It was like, what's the demon purple devil thing about?
I think that's Hordak, probably.
Oh, maybe.
He's gonna do something.
He's gonna explode in anger.
He's gonna blow up all the gems. Stones. I don't know.
Okay, we tried. If anyone has any theories of if anyone wants to take a crack at this tweet, like, let us know what you think. Whether it's on our Discord, on our Twitter, on YouTube comment, whatever it is, let us know. But yeah, I think that does it for this podcast. You can find out all the info on this podcast at overlyanimated.com. You can join us on Discord to text chat about animation at overlyanimated.com/Discord. Support us via Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Shin, aka Shingeki no Kyojin. And thanks as always to our Patreon executive producers, John, Ryan, Steve, Alex, Beatriz, and Hugh. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.